Architecture is defined as the art of practice of designing and constructing buildings. Physical structures vary according to an architect's perception. In fact, several architects have contributed to the art of design we currently have for today. Construction, on the other hand, refers to the process of physically building large structures, putting life to the plans and blueprint of an architect using different materials like sand, concrete, gravel, and cement to construct a house. The art of architecture is a creative process wherein through sketching, drawing, and designing buildings, it enhances one's thinking and perception about certain subject. This leads to unique styles and platforms of the infrastructures. The architecture began during the time of ancient Egypt, back in 16th century BC. Construction of temples and buildings were a prominent structure back there. The first known architect, Imhotep, an Egyptian chancellor to the pharaoh Djoser, was known to be the first human who had utilized the use of stone columns which has served as a framework of the building. His famous work, the Pyramid of Djoser, was one of his most notable infrastructure ever built back then. It is one of the most historical piece of architecture back then. Phidias, a Greek sculptor, painter, and architect, was also one of the most notable architect and sculptor back then. Though known for his famous work as a sculptor, he was also a great architect. His famous sculpture, the statue of Zeus at Olympia, was known to be part of the seven wonders of the ancient world. Sadly, he died at 430 BC. Vitruvius, an architect who was known as the writer of the book De Architectura, had served as a model for modernist architects due to his published books and works. Through an architect, much of his infrastructures were not known as it could be. However, due to his popular published book, foundations of the framework of architecture were stabilized through his writings. Filippo Brunelleschi, an Italian designer, was one of the key individuals known in the subject of architecture, though recognized as the first modern engineer, planner, and sole construction supervisor. He had a very notable character in the history of architecture. He was best known for his ideas and design on the Cathedral of Santa Maria del Fiore, which is situated in Florence, Italy. He had also built the dome of Florence Cathedral and Basilica of St. Lorenzo. Leonardo da Vinci, a painter, sculptor, and an architect, also had its significant contribution in architecture, though mostly known for his works in painting. He was also important in the history of architecture. According to a notable source, his notes contain many information, reference, and notes about architects, which includes the framework and plans for such cathedral. He had a logical approach to solve such problems. Vincenzo Scamozzi, an Italian architect born during 1548, was also a writer about the foundations and knowledge about architecture. He was an architectural theorist. He was known for one of his Renaissance treatises in the field of architecture. He wrote a book, a six-volume book entitled Lia dell'Architettura Universale, which was published last 1615. These notable architects in the past serve as an inspiration to the individuals today. As more and more knowledge are being gained about architecture, modern architecture is now precisely seen, having several styles created by creative architects. Despite the famous works contributed by architects, the concept of architecture, which mainly involves building and, and such, are very important in the modern world today. The concept of modernism is continually evolving in today's time. Frank Gehry, an American-Canadian modern architect, was known for his world-renowned attractions through his designs. One of his famous works today is the Walt Disney Concert Hall, which opened last 2003. Its uniqueness and stability had truly achieved a great infrastructure.